Hey, how y'all doing today, Christian friends? I just wanted to pop on again because I have just a word that I wanted to share with y'all, something that really just kind of intrigued me, that I felt like I really needed to share this with you guys. So if you've been following me enough, I've always kind of said that we're just being transparent about saying how much I'm just on this journey to grow spiritually and just draw closer to God. And one of the main things that I've been doing in trying to draw closer to God was just trying to read the word, delve into the word as much as possible so I can grow spiritually, so that way, if you wondering like how are you supposed to communicate with God, or how can you get communication with God, it would be from you reading the Bible. That at least that's one reason, that's one way, just trying to just gain knowledge from the source. And I've always kind of said, like, I am just truly convinced and convicted in my heart that the Bible is one of the main sources of life that just teaches you how to navigate through a lot of things. And you're going to miss out on how to navigate through life, like when it comes to the hardships, at least the tough parts of life. And I'm not saying that the Bible don't teach you about how to be successful, because that it teaches you that too. It teaches you how to live in life and how to prosper. But I'm talking about the hard parts of life, right? The hard parts that when it happens, you don't expect it. You don't know what to do. You might not know how to deal with it, or you just don't know what you're going through. If you don't even delve into the Bible, you won't even understand the afflictions and the sufferings and the hardships that you are going through. So I try to say as much as possible whenever I'm like just trying to pop on and give a word, like, you got to delve into the Bible. And you know, for the people that may not believe or just feel like the Bible is conflicting, or you know, why should I be convinced that the Bible is the main source for me to read? You know, it is, because it is so much relatable things in there. And we're talking about people who have just basically sharing their experiences about God and Christ years back before you was even an inclination of being born on this earth. And they're just sharing their experiences. Just like the Bible says, the Bible is inspired by God. So it's basically just people who are just giving their testimonies, giving their stories of experiences that they might have had with Christ himself, or with God, or just their things that they have went through. It's no different than us today. If we're going through something, right, or if you just have an experience of something that happened in your life and you decide to document it. Again, somebody else further down the line may not necessarily believe you, but you're writing or you're documenting what you experienced. And so it say to the next person that documented it or reads the document, it's up to them if they want to believe it. But just say, for instance, that same person that picks up that document that you wrote of an experience that you had, whether if it was good or bad, you just want to tell your experience. You document that, right? And years later, somebody pick it up. Just say, for instance, years later, that same person that picks up that document, well, they just so happen to go through the same thing. So when they go through the same thing, now they're convicted in their spirit, like, this is real because I can relate to this. And that's really what the Bible is. So if I had to say why the source is something that you really need to be convicted to want to know and grow and understand from, because it's so much, it should be so much in here that's every one of us should be able to relate to as human beings. Okay, from even the beginning of time, from Genesis all the way to the book of Revelation, it is something in this word that you should be able to relate to, good or bad, whether if it's from prospering or suffering. It is something in here that you can relate to. But I wanted to share because, listen, y'all, as much as I've been reading the Bible and I've been like just determined to learn this word for, I want to say, at least the past I'll just stop at 2 years of me just trying to learn the word and read as much as possible. Because as much as, yes, reading is fundamental, and there's nothing wrong with reading, you know, just reading to just gain knowledge and to, you know, just to grow, to get intellect, or just to learn. The Bible is the main source is the main thing you need to learn, and then everything else will fall into place of what you're trying to learn. So as much as I've been reading the Bible, I've shared so many times that it's been times where I might read something over and over and over, but then I might read it again some other time, and then I just might get a different aspect of it, of what I done read several times. And then when I just, for whatever reason, I decide to look over it again, because I gotta retain it. So I gotta keep on seeing it. I gotta keep on looking at it again to get it in me, because it needs to be digested in my spirit. Well, it's been times where I might read something and okay, I read it, I get the understanding of it, I'm good. I might come back to it some other time later, and it just might be a whole different revelation about reading it. It just might be, it might hit me different, like, wow, and I know I done read this several times. And one book that I wanted to just stop at tonight, that I wanted to talk about, was the book of Psalms. And I know that many people, if you are just somebody who's determined to read the Bible, even if you're not determined, but you read the Bible because you go to church, or you just around people where you're getting counsel, you're having Bible study, whatever, for whatever reason that you are opening up the Bible, and if you've kind of skimmed through it, you know that the book of Psalms is the longest book in the Bible. Okay, it is a Bible in itself. That's how long the book of Psalms is. So a lot of people, if you just not into really wanting to read, you're not going to really take the time out to go through the book of Psalms. And I'm one that, you know, I've skimmed through it, and or if I'm listening to my Bible app, I would listen to it, because I know that just reading all of those words through the book of Psalms can get tedious, and it's a lot, especially if you don't understand it, or you're not really into it because you're trying to grow spiritually, right? You will deliberately try to skip past the book of Psalms because it's just that long. Well, I got to say, y'all, that when I've read through the book of Psalms, skimmed through it, but I mean, I've kind of went over and went through and out the book of Psalms several times, and never has it hit me the way that it did just a few days ago. I mean, literally, as I'm like listening to it on my Bible app, because like I said, I try to, if I'm not reading the Bible, I try to listen to the Bible app, and I literally will fall asleep listening to it, so I can just try to gain as much knowledge, or just gain as much as I can in the Word. And the book of Psalms, if you have not taken the time to even look through it yet, if I had to sum it all up, the book of Psalms is really just a cry out to God, and people just asking the Lord to help them through some struggles, help them through some things. Lord, I've been through some stuff, and help me to stay grounded, or Lord, teach me, or Lord, forgive me, or Lord, I'm crying out to you because I'm struggling through something. So like David, he's one of the psalmists in the book of Psalms, and he's crying out to God for some things because he's sinned, he's made some mistakes, and he just basically crying out to God. And so if you yourself, if you just a type of person, if you're human and you've sinned, and if you imagine, like, okay, if you may not be the type that you've never cried out to God before, you've never prayed to God yet, or you've never found a time in your life where you needed to seek God for anything, whoever you may have cried out to or vented to, and you're just like, I need some help, like I'm tired of going through this, my enemies, or I'm struggling with this, or why people treat me like this, or why did he do me like this, why she did me like that, or why, whatever it is that you are going through that just uncomfortable, that is that has afflicted you, that has just pretty much just put you through something that doesn't feel good, and you had to vent. So if you didn't vent to God, but you vented to somebody, you cried out, right? The book of Psalms is exactly that. And I just listening to it while I was going to sleep. So it gave me a chance to just listen to it, listen to the words. And I'm just like, wow, this is a book of people just literally crying out just like me. Because I've been through it. I've been through it and been afflicted, before I was afflicted, I was astray. I just kind of abandoned God. I went through stuff, just feeling myself and living to please the world, and just wasn't living to please God, just conforming to the world and just living in sin. But then when I went through what I went through, when I suffered through my affliction and got dropped down to my knees, these same cries sound very familiar to me now. And it just hit me so differently that I just had to share this with y'all, because again, if I had to truly stand at the podium, right, and give my speech as to why the Bible needs to be the main source, or the one and only, the first main source that you need to delve into, that you need to give your attention and your all to, is because at the end of the day, if you can sit there and if you go through things in life and you want to know how you can get through it, or if you go through things in life and you want to learn to do better, or if you want to just see for yourself and read about people who have been through the same things you've been through to try to get some type of navigation to overcome it. The book, the Bible is a source that will tell you all. It's going to give you all the stories. So I just had to just kind of go with that because just again, the book of Psalms, I've skimmed through it, but never have it touched me in a way, that it did. And I will even tell you, like, I start like the Psalms 119, and I'm not going to go through because Psalms 119 is itself is quite lengthy, but I'm just going to give a few things in Psalms 119 that I just kind of wanted to break down with you so you could just hear it for yourself. Again, if you're like me and you've just been through some things, right? And you now want to turn your life around. You now want to throw off your old self, and now you're your new self, so you're new in the spirit. And so the things that you've once done, you want to do away with that. You're not that person anymore, but you've struggled through some things, or you're still going through it. You're in that season that's uncomfortable, so you still sometimes find yourself trying to figure out how you're going to get through it. And you believe in God, but then yet you're still kind of straddling, you're still struggling with sin, right? So a lot of these things, a lot of these cries right here in the book of Psalms just was so relatable to me that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board with the book of Psalms. And like, I've been like just trying to listen and hear it over and over and over again, because it's basically telling you like how you can even get through it, or it's telling you something that you can relate to so you can feel better. Have you ever had something that you went through, like, or for instance, if somebody told you, if the doctor told you these symptoms which you're going through, this is the disease, or this is what that is, this is what you're going through, so this is the description, or this is what it's titled, this is the symptoms, so then this is what it's called. You believe the doctor, right? Because the doctor told you, like, okay, you went to the doctor, you told him, you having an upset stomach, you feeling dizzy, faint, and you starting to you feel sick and you can't eat. And the doctor say, okay, well, from the symptoms you just told me, this is what you're going through. This is the diagnosis. So you believe that. And then say, for instance, somebody else, you might go to somebody else and tell them the symptoms you're going through. And they might say, oh yeah, you got the flu. But how would they know? They believe you though, because when you told them those symptoms, they told you what you were going through because they might have been through the same things, or they believed you because when you told them what you were going through, you said some things that they could relate to, so they knew what you were going through, and they told you, or they could even help you how to get through it because they done been through it. So the same thing with the word. It teaches you about things that people done been through, that if you've been through it and you can see that this is something you can relate to, now you have a conviction of how you can believe and how you can grow from this and learn from it. So if I had to leave that with you as my last word, if I'm trying to speak to the jury, I'm telling you, if there's anything in here that you can relate to and you feel like, oh wow, I done been through that same thing, then that's right there should give you all the reason of why you need to grow and learn and listen, look at people that's going through what you're going through. So just a few things here where, like, we talk about again the Psalms 119, which says, joyful are people of integrity who follow the instructions of the Lord. Joyful are those who obey his laws and search for him with all their hearts. They do not compromise with evil, and they walk only in his paths. You have charged us to keep your commandments carefully. Oh, that my actions would consistently reflect your decrees. Then I will not be ashamed, and when I can compare my life with your commands. As I learn your righteous regulations, I will thank you by living as I should. I will obey your decrees. Please don't give up on me. So this is one person, Aleph, who's basically just saying his piece to God, right? Saying like, look, I won't have to be ashamed because, Lord, when I compare my life with your commands, when I follow your commands and I follow your decrees, I will thank you because I'm living the way that I should live. So please don't give up on me. So he basically saying, Lord, as I'm trying to follow your decrees and live the way that I should, don't give up on me. Stay with me. Please continue to bless me. Please continue to keep me and save me. And so, okay, another one where it says, I lie in the dust. Revive me by your word. I told you my plans and you answered. Now teach me your decrees. Help me understand the meaning of your commandments, and I will meditate on your wonderful deeds. So basically it's just saying, you know, I've forsaken you, right? I've abandoned you, Lord. But now that I have told you my plans, I told you what it is that I'm trying to do, Lord. I'm trying to turn my life around. I want to turn away from sin. I want to turn away from evil to do good. So it says, now teach me your decrees. Now teach me what it is that I need to know, Lord, so that I can do better. So that I can do better, and help me understand the meaning of your commandments. Like I stated, that you can try to read the Bible all day long, but if you don't understand it, if you don't get the discernment and the wisdom of the word, or the knowledge of understanding and interpreting the Bible well, you're going nowhere. You're not going to gain anything. You're just reading words, but you're not going to gain what's going to spiritually grow you. So it's saying here, help me understand the meaning of your commandments, and I will meditate on your wonderful deeds. So basically, and it sounds much like myself. I cry out to the Lord like, Lord, I'm trying to understand. There's some things that I just don't understand. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. But Lord, in my heart, I just want to continue to submit to you. I want to continue to commit to you whatever I do. But Lord, teach me your commandments. Show me what it is that I need to know. I'm always asking the Lord, Lord, show me what is, when I open this word up, show me what is pure, right, and true of you, so that I can understand and do it the right way. I don't want to be reading the Bible and then misinterpreting it, and then I'm thinking I'm doing good, or thinking that I'm doing all right as far as trying to follow God's commands, but then I'm doing it wrong because I'm interpreting the Bible wrong. So right here where the left, I think that's his name, he basically saying, now teach me your decrees, Lord. Help me understand the meaning of your commandments so I could just get it right. And that's basically how I sound. Like literally a lot of these passages from these different people that just crying out to God, that could have been me. My name could have been written as one of these people here, because this sounds exactly like the same things that I'm crying out to today. And this Bible been written years before I was even been an inkling of a thought to be born. Okay, so here's another one where it says, Lord, give me your unfailing love, the salvation that you promised me. Then I can answer those who taunt me, for I trust in your word. So basically, when the people who's unbelievers and who still persecute you, Lord, still show me love, Lord, please bless me, still keep me, please save me. The salvation that you promised me, that you promised to give me for repenting and turning away from evil to do good. Then I can answer those who taunt me. I can tell them like, look, I'm a child of God. This is who I follow. I serve the Lord. For I trust in your word. So I want to be able to show them why I trust in your word. Give me the evidence, God, that you are there with me. I mean, it sounds exactly like the same things that I be hollering out when I'm crying out to God, just going through what I've been going through. Because all before I was afflicted, I fell astray. I abandoned God. I was just living to please the world. And I was just doing what I wanted to do. Dead to my sins, because I was dead because of my disobedience and my many sins. But then when I got afflicted, and I thank God for discipline, but and that turned me to that point of saying, you know, I gave the world a chance. Now it's time to give God a chance, and I'm determined to do better. I'm determined, Lord, help me keep my deliverance. Lord, help me to stay saved, and I need your help. And these are people literally just crying out to God, saying, Lord, help me in this. All right, you got read a few more, because I mean it's a lot. You got to really, I mean, especially 119 hit me so hard the other night. All right, it says, Lord, you are mine. I promise to obey your words. With all my heart I want your blessings. Be merciful as you promised. I pondered the direction of my life, and I turned to follow your laws. I will hurry without delay to obey your commands. Evil people will try to drag me into sin, but I am firmly anchored to your instructions. I'm going to stop right there, because listen, Lord, you are mine. I promise to obey your words. Like, Lord, I was doing bad. I was sinning and I was doing wrong. And Lord, you have changed the way that I think. You touched my heart. That means you afflicted. I was afflicted, but it changed my heart, and you touched my heart. You allowed me to go through that so I can see that I was wrong, that I disobeyed you and I abandoned you. But Lord, you are mine. I'm yours. You know those who are yours, Lord. So even though I was cut off from you, you still was there blessing me, keeping me and saving me. and you touch my heart to turn my life around. So Lord, you're mine. That means I'm your child, Lord, and I'm saying this to you. I'm your child. So I promise to obey your words, meaning like, Lord, now that I've been afflicted and so that I can learn your decrees, Lord, I promise to do the best that I can, Lord, to obey you and obey your words. I know I might mess up, but Lord, I need your help to do right, because I want to do right. With all my heart, I want your blessings. Like, Lord, when I live that life of trying to get affirmations from the world and get confirmation of the world, living to please the world, now that I understand that the world, I don't need affirmations from them, I need to please you. And that now that you've given me the second chance, Lord, I pray for your redemption. I pray for your blessings, God. I choose life, and I'm hollering out the same things, you guys. And I just need you to understand, because as surely as I'm human, just like you, just like how you could believe when other people tell you things in life and not to negate the world things that the people that might teach you and show you. I'm just trying to show you how, if someone tries to tell you like, look, the Bible is the main source, and you're like, well, why should I believe you or believe that the Bible is the source? What is the Bible going to do for me? Well, this is why. As surely as I'm human, and as surely as I make the same mistakes you make, as surely as I can tell you this is this and that is that, and you might believe me or not, I'm telling you that these same cries is this. This literally could be me. All right. And so it says, Lord, I pondered the direction of my life, and I turned to follow your laws. So when I was just straddling and struggling with sin, and I pondered like, okay, what do I want to do? Like, when it says your loyalty is divided, right? So you believe in God, but yet you're still obeying sin. You're still obeying the flesh. So now your loyalty is divided between God and the world. So it says I pondered the direction of my life, and I turned to follow your laws, God. I will hurry without delay to obey your commands. Evil people will try to drag me into sin, but I am firmly anchored to your instructions. So just meaning like, people gonna try to get me to commit sin again. I'm gonna be tempted to do this and do that, but I firmly, with all my heart, want to obey your instructions and your commands. So does that not sound like somebody you know? Hint yourself. Does it not sound like something that you can say, oh my gosh, like I had these same cries. I have these same cries. All right, I'm gonna read a few more. And so it says, let me see. Look upon my suffering and rescue me. This is Resh talking. Look upon my suffering and rescue me, for I have not forgotten your instructions. Argue my case, take my side, protect my life as you promised, God. The wicked are far from rescue, for they do not bother with your decrees. Lord, how great is your mercy. Let me be revived by following your regulations. Many persecute and trouble me, yet I have not swerved from your laws. Seeing these traitors make me sick at heart, because they care nothing about your word. See how I love your commandments. Lord, give back my life because of your unfailing love. So basically, these are just different people just crying out to God, saying, look, God, look upon my suffering, my afflictions, the times that I've sinned, but I'm trying to turn away from evil to do good, and rescue me, God. Save me, help me. Does that not just sound familiar at all to anybody? All right. So I said that to say all of this, like, you got to give the Bible a chance. And again, it's nothing wrong with reading, because a lot of people out there, you might just be a person that's an avid reader. You like to read anyway, but you just, you might just be struggling where the Bible is just not one of the things that you are just really trying to be determined to know and understand. But you need to delve into it, because it's going to train you about life. It's going to train you. And it's okay to read other books too, and to grow and to elevate in literature and just understanding things so you can articulate better, so you can just learn better. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with physical training. But training to be godly is much better, because it promises you benefits in this life and in the life to come. So when I say training, I'm also just saying training by learning and understanding the word, delving into the word, because it's going to show you. And just surely as I'm a sinner and I fell short of the glory, and I'm no different than maybe many of you out there. just listening to this, it sounds much like something that I can relate to. And so therefore, if it's something that I can relate to, then I can follow it. I can decide that, okay, this is something that I want to give my attention to. No different than, again, if somebody tell you, okay, well, look, this is, I don't know, if they just tell you something and you can relate to it, you're going to listen to them. Your doctor tell you something, you believe and you trust the doctor, right? If he tell you this is how, if you're sick with this is the kind of medicine that you need to take, you believe that doctor, and then you listen to what kind of prescription or what he's going to prescribe you for you to do better. It's the same thing with the word. It's going to give you the prescription of how you can get better and do better. It's going to tell you, it's going to pretty much show you some of the same things you're going through. I mean, and just down to the T. And I mean, I wish I could break down everything in the book of Psalms. But you got to just be willing to want to give it a try for yourself. And then lastly, I wanted to say, like, you know, you got to be ready to defend why the Bible is important and why drawing near to God is important, because there's spiritual warfare out there. We are warring in the spirit, and we are being attacked in our minds. We are being attacked in our spirit. We are being attacked. Our plans are being attacked. What we're doing, our children, our finances, everything is being attacked. And a lot of times when we're going through it, like myself, when I was first going through these things, when I was afflicted and I didn't know it, I fell really hard and I struggled really hard to come out of it. And then not only that, I suffered and I just didn't know what it was. I honestly just straight up thought I was dying. And I was dead to sin. But I still didn't also get like, look, you know, God is sitting you down. He's poking you, saying, look, you need to get yourself together, and I'm giving you a chance. And so not knowing that, because I never took the chance to draw near to God to get the prescription that's right here in the Bible, that's going to make me better, right? That's going to give me salvation, right? And to grow and learn, I didn't give it a chance. So now that I understand it, I don't mind passing it on to other trustworthy people so that you can pass it along to others. So just like you believe other people when they come and tell you stories about stuff, when you're quick to want to believe gossip and somebody told you this and told you that, you believed the media when it comes to certain things, you believed it right then and there. So if somebody come to you and try to tell you why the Bible is important, okay, I do understand that, yes, you're supposed to learn and want to see for yourself. And see where it relates to your life at. But that's what the Bible is. And drawing near to God. If somebody come to you and say how God turned their life around, but you don't want to believe that. But if somebody come and tell you something negative or some gossip, then you hold that. You listen to that, or you take that in, right? You open up your ears to that. But when somebody is trying to tell you why God is good and why you need to turn from evil to do good and why you need to trained to be godly and why you need to live in a way that pleases the Lord, and you need to carefully determine what pleases God. Okay, and if you don't want to hear it from me, then open up the word for yourself and see if you don't find yourself hearing somewhere in this Bible. See if you don't find yourself. Okay, and if that ain't convincing enough, then something ain't right. Then you might not be a child of God. But yeah, so, you know, just take a look into it. But you got to be ready to defend this. So when people do come to you, or if you do have to have those times, because it says be ready to preach the word of God, whether the time is favorable or not. So there are times where I kind of doubt, like, should I go ahead and give this word? Or, you know, because people ain't going to listen, or, you know, I may not get that many views or whatever. But I still have to, even in me learning, because again, it's not like I don't know. I'm still learning. Okay. But I have learned that if the conviction is in my heart that I need to say it, I got to get it out, because I would rather do that knowing that I'm obeying God versus not doing it. And then somebody is missing this word to get help, or somebody is missing it, or I missed the opportunity in this assignment for somebody to be healed or helped or saved. Right. So if I got that conviction, I'm going to have to just do it. No matter how it sounds, or no matter how it's taken or received by the audience, or whatever the audience is, even if it's just one or half of one listening. But so, you know, you got to be ready to, you know, preach the word of God, whether the time is favorable or not. And then you got to be ready to gently explain it to people who may not understand, or to believers or or unbelievers. You got to be ready to gently explain the word of God. So when you got to be ready to defend the existence of God. You got to be ready to defend the goodness of God. You got to be the sovereignty of God and the reliability of the Bible, the necessity of Jesus. Okay, so we got to be ready, or I got to be ready, and we got to be ready to do these things. So when you got to be ready to defend the existence of God, you got to be ready to share your testimonies about how God blessed you, kept you, and saved you. Because at the end of the day, I know when I was out there just living to please the world, and I wasn't giving God the attention. I knew all about God, but I wasn't living to please God. I was living for myself. The Lord was still right there blessing me, keeping me, and saving me. Some things that should have happened to me didn't happen. Okay? And some things that I didn't deserve, the Lord still allowed me to have those things, which is grace and mercy. So the Lord was there all along, and I still abandoned God, but he was still there for me. And so you got to be ready to defend the goodness of God, how the Lord has been good to you. So when I do think back, even though I experienced a lot of rejection, I experienced a lot of just feeling worthless, feeling hopeless, or just feeling like, okay, the world is not going the way I want it to go, when at the end of the day, it was me trying to chase the world, chasing the wind, right? And did not understanding that I'm living to please God. I'm here to serve others. I was going about everything wrong. But the Lord still was good to me. He still allowed me to have certain things. The Lord still gifted me. My gifts ain't left and went nowhere. I didn't steward it well. But my gifts and the masterpiece that God created in me, because we are all God's masterpiece, created to do all the good things that he planned for us. So I'm still God's masterpiece. I didn't do it. I didn't handle it well. I didn't cook it. I didn't cook the food right this time, that time. But now I'm simmering, and I'm doing a better job now of stewarding my gifts well. But the Lord still has been good to me, even when I wasn't good to him. Again, to pour out the blessings and the gifts that the Lord has given me, I'm just very thankful for. And I'm just thankful now that I understand in my mind that I am enough. Okay? And just being ready to defend the sovereignty of God, knowing that God is almighty. At the end of the day, you ain't got no control over nothing. You around here thinking that, I can make things happen just how I want it, or it's happening because you did that. No, you ain't did nothing. The Lord gave you the breath of life to get these things done. He the one that gave you the power to be successful. You don't have no control over nothing. When I was out there living to please the world, and I was out there going, I'm very ambitious individual. I tell you that. You couldn't stop me from nothing. Very driven. I was so driven that, listen, I was driving without a license at one time. That's how driven I was. I was always just in the mind on go and had an imagination out of this world. And so I always saw ahead of time of how I wanted things to be done. And I just saw my life ahead of time. I just was always just on go, on green in my mind. But not one thing happened the way I wanted it to happen. So that had let me know right there after I fell off that cloud, thinking that I was living for myself and I had all the control. It let me know right then and there quickly that I ain't had no control, that God is in control, that the Lord directs your steps. So how was I supposed to understand my own way? Many other plans of a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. There is no wisdom, no insight, no plan that can succeed against the Lord. So once you understand that, then you can maybe open up to that mind of accepting that God is in control and allowing him to lead. And that you do your part by being thankful and grateful and acknowledging the Lord in everything you're doing, submitting to the Lord whatever you're doing. When I was doing all the things I was doing, I wasn't out there just living just doing foolish things, like not just not living evil or anything like that. But I wasn't acknowledging God in nothing I had going on. I just had all my stuff planned out. Like I just knew it was going to go exactly how I wanted it to go. And not once was I just even thinking to include God, giving thanks to God or glorifying God. When I knew he existed, I knew that there was a God, but I wasn't glorifying him nor gave him thanks. And I just thought, I'm serious, y'all. I was thinking like I already had my life set out. I mean, when I was in high school, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a superstar. You wouldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be on the cover of a magazine, that I wasn't going to be on somebody's stage in front of the cameras. Like I knew, and I didn't have a plan B. Like that was what I wanted in life. And I was going forward, and I just knew, and that's it. I ain't had no plan B. And I thought I had all the control, but then I realized after I fell off that cloud, I ain't had no control, because not one thing that I wanted and set out for happened the way that I wanted it to happen. But I was still very successful, still very blessed. But I didn't label it like that. I wasn't thankful and grateful enough for the things that I did have. I was desiring the things that I didn't have, instead of being thankful for the things that I already had. I was desiring what I didn't have, and not understanding how important it was to wait on God, to be strong, to take heart, to wait on God. I wasn't even thinking like that. I was just thinking like, go after what I want. So yeah, so at the end of the day, just defending the sovereignty of God, letting you know that you ain't in control of nothing. Many other plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. And please remember that. All right. And the reliability of the Bible. Again, if I had to just share why convince you why the Bible is the main source that you need to delve into, is because it is too much things in here that you can relate to from top to bottom, from the beginning all the way to the back of the book. It is something in here that relates to your life. And this Bible was written years before you could even have thought about being born. So, I just wanted to just I had to share that with y'all, because I'm serious, y'all. I done read it and out of the book of Psalms several times, and never has it hit me like it did just a few days ago, to where I was like, oh no, I had to keep repeating it on that Bible app, keep pressing repeat, listening to it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this sounds just like me. So yeah, Christian friends, I just wanted to share that with y'all, and just kind of get that off my chest, and it just kind of let y'all know, like, at the end of the day, when we out there, believing other things in the world, putting faith in other things in the world, at the end of the day, the Lord who's the creator, the Lord who created you and gave you breath of life, if you still are straddling the fence of trying to understand if you need to give God a chance and turn to God, I am trying to let you know that it's worth a try. It's worth a try. Surely as I'm human just like you, and I've made, I'm pretty sure, the same mistakes as you. And at one time I was ashamed to even cry out to God. At one time I was so ashamed of the way I was living that I even knew, like, ain't no point in me even talking to God, because he ain't gonna give me nothing I asked for. So I was at that point at one time. So I had strongholds up that was blocking me from receiving the truth and understanding the unfailing love of God and his grace and mercies, when he was already, even then when I was like too ashamed to even go to God and pray, he still kept me. I don't look like what I've been through. And I'm just like, sometimes I look back and it's like, I'm surprised I made it through the suffering and the turmoil that I experienced in my spirit and in my heart of what I was going through. I'm surprised I'm still breathing, to be honest. And, just to still be here, I'm much obliged to just try my best. It doesn't mean that we're not going to make mistakes, Christian friends, because again, now that you are made new in the spirit, why are you now trying to become perfect by your own human effort? You're not going to be perfect, but you can still continue to submit to God and acknowledge God and cry out to God. God, heal our land. Rescue us, Lord. So you're going to still make mistakes. But at the same time, you got to carefully determine what pleases God and make a decision to live in a way that pleases the Lord, and choose God and seek ye first the kingdom of God. So whatever it is that you're doing, whatever your same plans was before when you was living worldly, whatever those plans are, include God in those plans. Delight yourself in the Lord and he'll give you desires of your heart. But I had to share that with y'all. I'm telling you, got to just give the Bible a chance. All those other books and stuff, everybody reading, if you are an avid reader and you just a person that just love reading books, some fairy tales or whatever, some of those fiction books, listen, they ain't got nothing on the Bible. The Bible got some tales up, some stories up in here that even some that you like, ooh, it's you, God, you this happened. So just give it a try. So I just want to thank you all for tuning in. Again, you can always watch many of my other Bible studies and my other videos that just kind of give a word. I have Bible study lessons, so you can also just go on my YouTube channel, Godly Models TV. You can follow me right here on Christian Adorn, Instagram at Christian Adorn. You can also follow me on my Facebook page, Christian.A.Apparel. So just, you know, if you want to take the chance, and I know sometimes just thinking like, you know, how can I get started? Like, you know, I want to do better. I want to start reading the Bible more, but I just kind of don't know where to start or how can I start? You know, I feel like I'm too far away. But just, you know, take a look at some of my Bible studies and just start there. And like I said, if you don't want to necessarily just read the Bible, then get a Bible app or something like that, so you can just kind of just start filtering out some things and just get that word in you and get that understanding you, and pray and ask the Lord for understanding and knowledge and discernment. Because like I said, you need the help. So when you are getting ready to tackle this word with about one, and I'm also tell you this book here, because the King James Version, that thing is the truth, boy. That thing is got some words in there that I don't understand still. So, you know, I have the version that's a little more relatable for me to understand. So if the King James Version is a bit too much for you, then get another version that you can understand, that's fitting to you, so you can grow and understand. Because again, you want to be able to interpret the Bible well, so you can learn and learn the right ways, so you won't have misguided zeal, so you won't be misguided as far as that. And I'm still learning, and that's why counselors and teachers and just getting counsel from people that you can trust with their word, because their speaking was pure, right, and true. That's going to be very needed in the process, so that way you can also get that help and that insight on what it is you're trying to learn. So I just want to say thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch y'all next time.